Okay, you saw the thumbnail and the title. Subscribe if you wanna, let's hop right into it. So some new side order stuff got announced along with the release date, February 22nd, and honestly that's a lot closer than I and a lot of other people initially thought it'd be. And I mean, I'm not complaining. Anyway, let's first take a look at the video from Splatoon North America's account on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. The video doesn't really have too much to show as there isn't really anything too new to see, but I'd like to talk about it anyway. The video starts with the same train scene we saw in the original launch trailer of Splatoon 3, with Neo Agent 3 falling asleep with Small Fry on the train. This is strange for a few reasons, as in the original trailer both Little Buddy nor Neo Agent 3 fell asleep. Now unless this portion was made specifically for the trailer, I don't really understand the significance of this shot. Maybe Agent 3 is falling asleep due to some external factor, like someone is targeting her to fall into this sleep that transports her conscious to the simulation thing in the next scene, although that wouldn't really make any sense because we know Agent 8 wakes up here and not 3. I could probably speculate on this for another hour at least, but really there isn't a clear-cut answer, so let's move on. After Agent 3 After Agent 3 dozes off, this cues a transition to the next scene. We see someone calling out to us louder and louder as the scene becomes more and more defined from this orange, binary Splatoon code stuff. It's clear that the person calling out to 8 is Pearl, judging from the sound font of the Inkling voice and the relevance around the area that materializes. It's pretty clear this is Pearl in her robot form, most likely waking up 8 from whatever happened before this scene. We also know she's talking to 8 as she literally says her name, so yeah. It's pretty clear that this is Inkopolis Plaza from the last trailer. And it also looks like the area has been even more polished since the last trailer, as I can see a lot of finer details in the background and objects. They've definitely been cooking since the last trailer. And yeah, that's it. Not much else to say. Told you it'd be quick. After seeing this video, I can say with about 85.38765% accuracy that this is the opening or near the very start of the DLC, judging from how much we've seen in this area. And if I recall correctly, the Octo Expansion DLC also followed this by really only showing the early areas and locations. Now, let's look at the new image that dropped along with this video. There's a lot here to see, so let's just mention all the obvious stuff first. Starting at the bottom, we can see Agent 8 in the middle of what looks like to be her materializing her weapons, followed by Pearlbot, then Oct or Deadfish a little higher up than that. Moving up, we can see the skeletal fish and the giant robot ring boss seen at the end of the last trailer as well. There are also 6 differently colored color chips on both sides, and at the very top we can see Pearl and Marina in their human form. So that's kind of all the blatant stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the more interesting parts of this poster. Under the large ring boss in the image, we can see a smaller but still similar sized enemy shaped in the form of a ball. I assume it's an enemy based on the resemblance to the look of it to other enemies that we've seen, as well as how the design and style choices are quite similar to the other ring boss enemy we saw in the last trailer. My best guess for these enemies is that, well, they're just bosses, which leads me to believe that it could be possible that certain high value color chips, such as the Pearlbot bomb upgrade that we saw in the last trailer, could be linked to a boss fight, meaning that they are optional, but also necessary if you want the best colored chips that are offered. Or at least that's my guess. I've noticed that some people believe that this specific boss looks to be an old boss from Splatoon 1 called the Octo Whirl, and while I do agree that there are some striking similarities, I don't know if I believe that this is the same boss from that game, but instead it may just be a coincidence. Anyway, let's now take a look at this guy right here next to Oct on the left. And I'm gonna keep it real, I have no idea who this is. As far as I know, this is the first time I've seen this character in anything side order related to my knowledge. At first, I thought it was maybe someone connected to Glenn Fiddler, the creator of the lobby area where you queue for matches, but after looking further, the only real connection between them is their clothing, which are both white in design. But I don't think that's enough evidence to justify a connection, but that also doesn't mean that there isn't one there. On top of this, I don't know what type of sea creature this is. Not that it really matters, but if this character's design is based on a deep sea creature, that could mean that they're connected to the deep sea Metro from Octo Expansion, which could have a huge impact on the story. So if you know what type of sea creature this character is based on, do tell me in the comments as I try my best to read all of them. My best guess for this guy is that he likely plays a part in why Marina isn't seen much throughout the trailers, as well as how Agent 8 got into this place initially. He might also be an ally, as he is sort of grouped at the bottom of the image with the rest of the protagonists. But he also could have been the one who designed those fish things we see through the trailers. In short, we don't really know who this guy is, but if he is on this poster, he's probably someone important. Okay, and now we come to the sort of last super interesting part of this picture. These strange humanoid looking things standing on top of the ring boss. There are 7 of these guys, with the one right in the center having the most defined features compared to the rest. Building off of this one in the middle, I've seen a lot of people move toward this being Agent 4 from Splatoon 2, and I kinda have to agree with this. I mean, there's just too many similarities. The pointy parts on the side of their head resemble the Hero Gear headpiece from Splatoon 2 almost a little too much, and the hairstyle of Agent 2 also resembles this character's hair pretty well. There are just too many coincidences for this to be a throw-up theory theory. I think that there is some connection and truth there. But this also doesn't have to be the Agent 2. Maybe it's just a copy. Or with how much footage we've seen of side order points to a simulation type of thing, this could be a simulation of Agent 2 used as a soldier of some sort. There's also the other side to this, no pun intended, which is that these red-eyed human things are just side order's version of the Octoling enemies, which are just tougher and more human enemies that are harder to fight. It also could be a mix of both of these. Maybe the one in the middle is Agent 2 and the others are just generic humanoid enemies. My personal guess though is that this isn't Agent 2 but someone or something that has a similar skill set, or maybe even a copy of Agent 2's skill set playing for the enemy team. And that really wraps up my analysis of the two new pieces of media we got for side order. Every time anything side order drops, the hype just increases for me massively, and with the release date of February 22nd coming out sooner than I thought, I'll definitely be waiting for it to be released. I think it's obvious that I super enjoy talking about side order, so if anything significant drops, I'll be sure to make a video on it. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. And rest assured, I'll be playing through the whole DLC on my channel as soon as it drops, so watch out for that as well. Anyway, that's it. Video over. Goodbye.